Yeah.
Welcome back to the Nexus, everybody, where we spotlight some of our favorite local businesses. I'm really excited. We have a fun guest on today. He owns not one, but two companies. This is Danny Jacobson. He owns JACO Concrete and JACO Outdoor Living. Welcome, Danny.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming in today. You made the long drive down from Omaha.
Yeah.
I appreciate you.
Yeah, thanks.
In the rain and everything.
My pleasure. Yeah, we've talked about this for a little bit, so it's kind of fun to.
Yeah, I've tried talking him into being on the show for a while, so we finally accomplished that.
No, it's a rainy day, so
it's perfect timing.
Perfect. I was like, okay, fine. I have no excuses today.
Well, tell us all about you. Tell us where you're from.
I'm from I'm from a really small town near where you're from, West Point.
Yeah.
Yep, it's from West Point. I'm from Craig, which is, about 100 people, but it's actually next to Oakland. So when I tell people where I'm from, I usually reference Oakland because they more commonly know Oakland. But so I went there, high school.
Did you hang out in West Point?
Yeah, we did.
That's where the cool people
West Point was like, you cruised mains. We cruised mains in West Point.
Heck yeah.
Dude, I remember.
I didn't know if you were too young for cruising mains, man.
No,
that's how you figured out what was going on.
Oh, yeah, that's how you met girls. Oh, yeah, I've got some weird stories. West Point, yeah. I got my first ticket in West Point.
That is
by running
not
a
surprising.
stoplight because we were trash talking other people while cruising.
Yeah.
And then I took off, and my buddy Cody Peterson was like, "Just go!" And I went, and then I got pulled over and ticket.
Danny.
I'm like, I got my license a week ago, bro.
Don't hold it against him. This is when he was in high school.
He's still a great friend. Shout out to Cody. I was on the phone with him a little bit this morning, actually. So.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Good dude.
So what happened after high school? Where'd you go?
So after high school, graduated from UNO. So went to Omaha, studied economics and political science.
Really?
Yeah.
Kind of a poli-sci kind of guy.
Yeah, I love politics. I don't talk about politics that much, though. I really don't, but I love it. I don't really.
I'd love to hear your thoughts on the economic fallout of this pandemic and
right
recession.
Now, no, that's,
We'll get into that later. We won't bore you guys with that.
yeah, it's very fascinating. I like to talk about politics more from not an opinionated standpoint, just like a theoretic, thought process of
I love hearing why people support candidates that they do.
That's fascinating.
You can support someone I don't support, and it won't bother me one bit.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I love presidential history, presidential politics, looking back at, for example, why George Bush lost the 92 election, right? George Bush was a decent president, but he lost to Bill Clinton because Bill Clinton is an amazing politician, and so he was a one-term president, and not very many incumbents lose the presidency. Anyways, that stuff is fascinating to me.
Yeah. See, this is why I love doing this show. I learn new cool things about my friends. It's awesome.
Yeah. So I then went to UNO and then graduated, and I really didn't know what I was going to do. I honestly, entrepreneurship wasn't on my mind in college.
What do you think you could do?
I don't know. I was just trying to get a job. You know, I was like, when you're 22, you're like, I just want to make $45,000. It's like it's so much money.
Living the dream.
It's like all your friends are graduating. They're like, oh, I started at $39K and $50 and whatever. And so I did some advertising for some magazines.
Yeah, that's right.
And then that went pretty well. And then I ended up within that year starting my own publication from scratch. So it was that was my first, introduction to owning and running a business.
Entrepreneurship.
And, mostly sales and, trying to create some self-sufficiency in the business, but a lot of sales. And
did you do the writing?
Like that, so, no. Even my publisher notes, I didn't want to write them. I like to write, but I'm so much of a perfectionist in writing that I can't do it.
It takes me forever. I am so with you. Yeah. This is an entrepreneur thing. Though.
I was writing an email last night, and I'm like, trying to find a synonym for a word, and I'm like, okay, I can't do it.
You're done.
It's just send. Oh.
That's funny. Yeah, okay, so then what just made you think, the thing that would make me so happy in life is owning a concrete business? Man,
I don't know if I've thought that yet. I really don't. Future customers, don't let. No, So I had the magazine business that was going decently well, moved to California. So I had kind of sold and started some new businesses in California, moved back to Nebraska. And, that was kind of a fresh start for me. Someone bought my business out there, started anew. And so I came back here and I had a buddy that was in the concrete coatings industry. Okay. And so So I jumped. I was going to jump in with that, and honestly, like that summer when I started doing it, the products I was using weren't going very well. So I had I still have a JACO concrete coatings, and we still do a lot of coatings, but it's just a small part of our business now. But, after I had a summer of it not going well, I had a lot of people call me because they had concrete in my name. They called me and they were like, "Hey, can you do a patio? Can you do a driveway?" And then
that's what the customers wanted. So that's what you started doing.
So I started selling those jobs and learned how to bid them out and all that. And then I, started hiring guys that know how to do it. And here we are.
So not only are you doing like residential, you also do some larger parking lots, commercial.
For sure. Yeah. We have a contract with Walmart. So we've been doing a lot of Walmart parking lots.
That's awesome.
That's gone well. I mean, to say it as an understatement, it's gone really well. And, it's a great industry. And I always say, if you like people, if you do well with people, you could really sell anything. And so I just luckily picked an industry that, there's a lot of need for it. So
I think it's hard to find a good concrete contractor where, you're more of the on it, call you back, answer the phone, be responsive. And I think that's really hard to find. So it's
even just like sending a real estimate, like emailing them a real estimate.
What are the
everything
deliverables?
Itemized and stuff. And a lot of times it's very like work out of your truck and
So then that kind of sparked your other business, JACO Outdoor Living. Tell us all about that.
So we started doing concrete for pool companies, basically. Pool companies call us up and say, "Hey, can you pour our pool decks?" And then, a couple guys who, worked for me had actually built pools. So, I started thinking, okay, let's try this out. Pools are nice because they're all really big ticket items, right? Mm-hmm. And so I thought that'll work. And
well, it's a long project, so you can have, guys go into the same site.
Yes.
Just way more consistent,
exactly.
Easier to manage the project.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we did that, and then the pandemic hit. And so all of a sudden now I'm, going from a couple pools a year to like, 10,
everyone
20,
wanted a pool.
30 pools a year. And, it's gone really well. Like, I've learned a lot. And I think that's probably the one thing that has helped me is I'm not afraid to admit that I don't know something. And so because of that, I'm not afraid to learn,
That's good.
So in order to learn something, you got to admit that you don't know it. And a lot of people, I think, struggle with that. They just don't want to go be in a space that they know nothing about. And I was able to do that. And
I think as I've aged, I've been able to admit where I'm totally clueless a lot easier. Because it's fine to not know everything.
Yeah, you learn
You
grace with
realize
yourself.
that, you don't have to be perfect anymore.
Yeah. It's like, man, I'm just forgive myself and have grace for myself and know that and it's okay that I don't know everything.
Right. And you've seen other people that have made that same mistake of acting like they know something they don't. And you're like, I don't want to be that person.
You look like a fool.
That's so dumb. I've done that before.
Oh, that's actually
that person.
my biggest pet peeve is when people talk a lot and they're dumb. Like they don't actually know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It is so annoying. It is, in that moment you're like, do I tell them or not? More than likely they're stubborn, so I'm probably not going to tell them. But I wish that they had some. Wish they understood how they looked.
Nobody likes to know it all.
Oh,
nobody.
Dude, for sure.
Yeah, a lot of times I'll just play with them at that point. It's just really not somebody I'm probably going to end up hanging out with long term. Yeah. So it's not worth like getting into an argument about it.
Totally.
But I will mess with them.
Oh yeah.
I'll be like, oh well, but I kind of thought.
Yeah. Be a little sarcastic with them. Like, oh really? Tell me more. Yeah. Tell me more.
Okay,
like,
so on the flip side, what is something that you love about people? What do you love about your customers?
Well, I will say that one of the things that I like about pools is that you're helping people. I was just on the phone last night with a guy named Corey, and he's telling me, he's like, we saved our whole lives to be able to save this $150,000 to pay for this pool, and it really is something that me and my wife, our parents couldn't have done for us.
Uh-huh.
And so on one hand, it puts a lot of pressure on me to
this
perform.
This is a huge investment.
But at the same time, like, people are, and I tell my guys this all the time, I'm like, people are spending this much money, and they've never spent this much money unless they build a house.
Yeah.
No one just spends $100,000 on anything unless you're, a multimillionaire and you got, a restored Ford Bronco, which I want. Yeah, for sure. So I like that. I like the pressure of that. And then that also allows me to, those jobs are really customers who are successful. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's cool. Like people who, they both work. They're, some people are doctors and they both have, like really great sales jobs and they can afford to have a beautiful home, but also add in, $100,000 worth of stuff to their backyard. It's cool. I like, being able to meet people like that. And then you can kind of learn a lot from them and, learn not only what kind of client they are, but how like, they've become successful. And I don't know, I feel like that's me.
Or even how they plan to use it. I'm sure you've built ones that are more for entertaining and then some that are really for the kids.
Lots of grandparents who are now retired and now they want to find excuses for their grandkids to show up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Genius.
So they build a pool. I mean, if you can afford it.
Yeah.
It's all about enjoying your place, enjoying your space. So.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, in a pool, you can use it like if it's heated a lot longer than the regular season of a regular
it's
pool.
In October and sometimes November, and it's expensive to heat it in those months, but whatever.
Hey, I mean, if you can buy a pool, you can heat it.
You can afford the bill. Yeah. So, that I like.
What's the most elaborate pool you ever did? Like, what was something crazy that you had to do?
I think the most elaborate pools, it's not really the pool, it's more like around the pool. Like what do people want to do around the pool? So you can, you really are topped out on inside of the pool.
True.
Unless you have a spa inside. But, like right now we're doing a pool where we're installing like 3,000 square feet of these porcelain type pavers, right?
Oh, wow.
So, it's like $100 and some grand just of pavers around the pool. But we've done a lot of cool water features and, a lot of simple water features that look really cool. I think those are my favorite. The ones that it's just like a really simple little piece that isn't really expensive, but
it adds like that sound of
the sound.
It's just the best. Like, running water is the best sound.
I was at a customer's house the other night at like 9:30 at night, and that's what I told him. I was like, man, we should have done a water feature just because the sound of the water dripping is so pleasant. Makes you want
to go hang out by the pool.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. So,
well, when do you think you're going to be expanding? Do you think that you'll be adding any other business lines anytime soon?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to like make my customers feel like I'm not going to be paying attention to them, but I'm trying to get into like some distribution type stuff right now.
Okay.
So kind of doing full circle with my buddy Ben, who got me into the concrete coating type stuff. Uh-huh. So we're doing a little bit of distribution for different contractors who, are looking for those products all around the country. So
kind of a one-stop shop if if you're already doing a concrete job and they need other stuff. That's good.
Yep. So I'd really like to make that a little bit more
out of the business.
Totally.
Line.
Yeah, it's connected. Yeah.
Well, one thing I really like asking my guests is what's one of your favorite books you've ever read for like entrepreneurship's sake?
Ooh, that's really good. I just read Atomic Habits. That's pretty good. It's pretty good. I think any successful person is consistently creating new habits. You know. I read one
raising their own bar of what they expect out of themselves.
Yep. Yeah. Man, there's so many. I don't know if I can come up with one. One of the best books is Purpose Driven Life.
Oh, I don't think I've read that one.
Rick Warren. Oh, you got to read it. It's like in 30-day snippets, right? So every day, here's like 2-3 pages to read. It's kind of like a devotional.
Oh,
but it's cool.
Totally
it just like it recenters you, and if it's simple, and the stuff in it isn't too difficult to understand, and I don't know. $1 Million Morning, I think that's what it was called, or Magic Morning, or something like that. Man, I don't even remember the title, but I read that like 7 or 8 years ago, and I remember I was just in a meeting, and some dude who I viewed as successful just mentioned the book, and I bought it. And
so, what is your morning routine? Do you have one?
I wish it was better.
Oh, I know. I wish mine was better too. But I have a list of what I want to do in the morning. So what's that list?
My list that I want to do? Well, I kind of like to chill in the morning. I really know that like if once I leave, I'm going.
Yeah.
Until I'm home.
100%.
And so I have a dog, and so I like to hang out with him. So wake up, coffee, typically, reading something or listening to a podcast of some sort. As I'm getting ready and leaving, I work out at noon. I don't work out in the morning.
That's good. Yes. I'm not a morning person. Like nothing, but I do like doing yoga in the morning. But that's kind of like a centering thing.
Totally. I've never done yoga. I would love to try. I think I've said that like 100 times.
Okay, we're gonna have to make a plan to go try a yoga class.
Yeah, we'll see. I might be busy that day. Yeah.
Fine.
Don't
go do yoga with me, Danny.
I'm kidding. I would love to. Please,
Okay.
let's go.
Okay.
No. I think, though, that as I get busier, the busier I get, the more I realize that I probably should start the 5 a.m. workouts.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it would just be so convenient to just knock it out of the way.
It's a lot easier for me. Like, if I don't do it in the morning, I mean, it's just like kick that can down the road and then you never do it.
I know.
Something
It's
better
so
always
easier
comes
to
along.
avoid it, yeah.
And then, like, I
Yeah.
work too much, so then I'll just work.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, that in the morning, you'd probably go and get to meet the most successful people. Like, if you go to the gym
I'm
at
never
5
going to a
a.m.
gym. No way. No way.
I think I'd have to. I don't know if I could start working out in my house at 5 a.m. I'd be like on the couch, Within a few
Well, if
minutes,
anyone has really good advice for Danny of how to get his
my workout routine,
routine
I'm sure I have
started
a
in the
couple
morning.
friends that will comment on this and be like, "Bro,
good.
I've been telling you. This is what I've been telling you."
Well, then, is there any last minute messages that you need to share your wisdom on?
No, not really. I think I just feel really thankful and blessed that I've had the opportunities to, I guess, do well. Not that I'm Mark Cuban or anything, but yeah, just thankful.
Yeah, you're making your own living and you're on your own business and your own boss.
Yeah, I have a lot of cool people that I think have invested
You've bought
in me.
and sold businesses at a really young age, and I think that a lot of people want to do something like that, but they never really kind of step outside and take those chances. And so, what would you say has been the biggest blessing of having done that? Why should other people start their own business?
Oh, I think that you just learn a lot. I think you learn a lot, and you put yourself in a space where you're vulnerable, and I think when you're vulnerable, I think you learn the most.
You find the most growth.
And I think there's a lot of people that, and not that I'm better than any people, but there's a lot of people who just go get a job and they retire with a really good income, but they really actually haven't grown.
Yeah.
They've just gotten better at what they learned when they were 23 and they started their job.
Yeah.
And so I love that I know a lot about pool building right now, and 5 years ago I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't know anything. A thing. I didn't know a thing.
Yeah.
Same thing with concrete.
I didn't know a thing about SEO.
Some people are probably like, you still don't know a thing about pools.
That's fine.
No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, I don't know. I think that's the biggest blessing of being an entrepreneur is you're constantly growing and learning. And I'd rather be in that place.
Challenging yourself.
Yeah, I mean, there's other benefits like freedom, money, a lot of that. But, I think sometimes I would probably do it without the money.
Well, there you have it,
Maybe
folks.
Maybe not.
It's worth it. I would agree with you.
Yeah.
So, it's never been higher highs, but there are some lower
some
lows.
Lonely times.
That go with it. But the highs are higher when you have success in your own business.
Being a leader, not that I try to identify myself as a leader too much, but even George Washington, he's like, the presidency is the loneliest office. Mm-hmm. And I think just being a leader in general, it's a lonely place sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just have tough conversations and you don't really have anybody to go to, You got
to talk to your other entrepreneur buds.
Yeah. And I've called you before.
Yeah.
I've called you before and been like, man, here's my situation. Can you vent with me? And then,
Generally speaking, you feel better afterwards. Probably hasn't changed anything, but you're like, the outlook changes.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Well, the next time it comes, you know how to deal with it.
True.
Like, okay, I've been here before. I'll get through it.
Yeah. That's
So.
awesome. Well, we really appreciate you guys tuning in.
We have a comment from Amber Nori. Hello, Danny and Renee. If you want to say hi to Amber.
Hey, Amber.
What's up, Amber?
How's it going? Thanks for tuning in today. Well, Danny, we really appreciate you being on the show.
Thank you.
Learned a lot about you, and
Good to
we
see
hope
ya.
all of you did too. So thanks for tuning in.
See ya.